Back in early 2022, during Steam Next Fest, you know, the dumpster fire where Steam promotes demos of games. You know, demos, the thing that games used to have to showcase the actual playable sections of their games. You know, from the days gone by when lying about your game with game trailers like these were frowned upon. Anyways, one of those demos was for a small Duke Nukem 3D looking old school retro game called Apocalyptic Vibes. The game was true to its name, just that, drenched in apocalyptic themes and music that was emblematic of the whole vibe. It quickly became my most interesting game release to wait for that year. Sadly, with the delay, it wouldn't be until the March 1st this year that the game would be released. But the wait was worth it. Now, that is if you could actually play it on the day one, which, well, you couldn't. Literal game-breaking bugs persisted for the next several days, but now that it's finally fixed, I can finally say it's playable. The game genuinely is amazing, dripping with this fictional nostalgia thanks to the great music and environmental sound design. It's rare to see any game nail its own theme so well. And this thing's basically composed of 3 pixels and a motherfucking hope. So then, why GZ Doom Engine? Why does it use super silly sprites of what most likely are pictures of developers, friends and neighbors? Why silly jank and not something like the overbloated Unity and Unreal? Well, as the sole developer of this game mentioned it to me, it's for the real retro feel. And he's right. The sprite-based characters, items around the world, all just feel positively retro. As for the gameplay, basically it's very similar to other Slavic depressing atmospheric shooters. I see Stalker's way of weapon handling, where a well-placed 9mm bullet can insta-kill your opponent, but aiming isn't that easy. And when it comes to trading with a few friendly characters you meet along the way, you do so with ammunition as money, much like Metro. It's slow and methodical, while being punishing in all the right ways. In most nooks and crannies you can find ammo and heals, and you'll need them too, so exploration is highly necessary. As for the story, well, let me recap it for you. The world after the Great War saw the danger and threat that rockets posed and decided to stop being meanies and become friends. Then everyone happily lived together and technology progressed at a rapid pace and humanity even started colonizing Mars and then the rest of the solar system. Your character, however, did not live in those times. Now it's twilight of a nuclear winter and your guy, well, let's call him Makblet, as a homage to the developer who's Russian. You were ambushed and probably squatted on by some raiders, and now, after recovering, it's time for Makblet to go on a murder spree! You collect your gun and your items, and I must say the real picture of a gun used as the view model is so cool. You know it's a picture, but all sprites in fact are chosen so well that it actually feels part of the environment despite being sprites. Anyways, Makblet collects a few things, teabags a corpse for loot, and finally finds the raiders. It's murder time! Makblet gets shot, but no worries, you picked up some moldy and crusty bread under some sink. It's probably good to eat and heal up, right? You loot everything again and pick up a key for their vehicle, where you find the rest of your gear, and most importantly, the tea box that you were supposed to deliver up north. This is your quest. Deliver it north. Next, as you're taking a stroll on the toxic wastelands and thinking of Semechki, well, okay. Makblet finds a ledge and tries to jump over it. Blech! Here we find a familiar rook to trade with, steal anything that's not nailed down, and off we go to murder again! Then, predictably, Blech! Finally, Makblet moves to the tower. Here the nostalgia hits him harder than a well-placed javelin shot. The calmness and slow movement only emphasizes the feels. And then you murder someone! I just love the abrupt cut by the gunfire, it's a perfect moment. But anyways, you carry on back home. And then the prologue starts. What the blin? Basically, your grandpa told you to get the T-box from the post office and bring it north. So again, you loot anything that's not nailed down and head to Magazine. Here you meet the bartender and that rook. Get some quests and move on to do some more murdering. Finally, at the post office, you pick up the T-box and return. This is where you got ambushed and started the game, but the game just simply fades to black. Prologue's done. You wake up in your home after the flashback, again, loot everything that's not nailed down, and head to Magazine, where you find a new face there. Someone that most likely is the developer's grumpy neighbor, Olya. So he grumpily drives you further north. This is where on day 1, the game was thoroughly fucked. Anyways, more murdering! Now we open up to a wide wasteland, and of course commit more murder. You stumble across a lonely shack and rest there. As you wake, a familiar rook is there to trade with you again. Well, never mind that, as Macbeth moves on and comes up to the library with another bunch of nomads. So you know what time it is? Murder! Then, after some more looting and murdering, you come up to some weird red pool of water and pray to gods it's not the blood of more murder! And finally, Macbeth arrives in Nomad Gathering, where no one seems to bat an eye that you're covered in so much murder blood, you might as well call yourself Freddy Krueger. But no, they're chill and even trade with you. Now, no time for that. You move on and you come up to some spooky forest with train tracks. You hear someone call out to you, but all you find are shadowy figures squatting. Ambush! You need to murder more! Anyway, stepping forward, you see a totem, and Macbeth starts tripping balls like you dropped a gallon of acid. Hey, what now? You picked up some moldy and crusty bread under some sink. It's probably good to eat and heal up, right? Yeah, that probably was it. Well, Macbeth keeps tripping balls so hard that you start seeing literal monkeys. Yeah, don't do drugs in post-apocalyptic wastelands, kids. As you wake, the Macbeth's body is washed away by a river, but gets rescued by a hippie dude with a cryptic dialogue telling you that you've been washed way back from where you came from. Okay, big piss jets. Well, let's carry on north again. Some murder later, you finally come up to a building that seems very familiar. Yes, that's the same building that you started the game in. So what the blin is this? Well, you put down your T-box, and that's it. Am I still tripping balls? So, yeah, the story of the game is interesting. As the developer told me, yes, it's a circular theme, but with more playthroughs you might notice more details about it. Overall, the game is, well, 2 hours short if you speedrun it. $20 on Steam? Yeah, a bit pricey, but it's an absolute atmospheric gem. The solo developer of this game is churning out patches multiple times a day for the first week and has promised to expand the game as the time moves on too. It genuinely feels like a passion project which I admire. The game is fun to play, pretty to look at, and most of all immerse yourself in. The demo of the game was already a highly impressive showcase of a great idea executed in a perfect way, and though the game is, well, buggy and there are some translation errors here and there, it's seriously inspired. The silly character sprites are just the best, and that's kinda the thing. You don't need a lot of resources to make a great game. A good idea, properly executed even on an older engine, is better than the overbloated shady bullshit of well, recent times.